Opportunity for Carolina to score! Felix Unger-Sorum, a highlight reel goal, tucks it to the far post, and the Canes are on the board.
Boy, this is just an unbelievable individual effort by Unger-Sorum. A variety of different tricks in his bag.
And Unger-Sorum will get it to Nadeau, looking for that shot. Nadeau's got it, he scores! Oh! Bradley Nadeau wires it, a power play goal for Carolina. Break it down, Tripper Thomas.
Well, I was hoping for it. Just isolate that shot because he can absolutely fire it.
And welcome to the Canes Corner Podcast. I'm Adam Gold. So we turned disaster at the start into enough stuff to get to and have a little fun talking about it. And we saw a little bit of the future. So all of that is good. And two of Carolina's three big prospects got on the score sheet. Not sure the third guy who didn't get on the score sheet maybe didn't play a better game than the others, although nobody was great tonight. I actually think there were some good players tonight, but we got some stuff to talk about. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it right there at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina at aluminumcompany.com online. If it is for the exterior of your home, that's where you go. That's where I go. You should go there too. All right, let's get to a few things, and we're not going to get bent out of shape by a 6-4 loss to Nashville. Think about who Nashville brought with their team. They brought 4 NHL defensemen or defensemen, as they say in English. They brought Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, Philip Forsberg on the top line. It's a good team. And they brought some good players. Our old friend Brady Shea was in town with Roman Josi, and their best players were their best players tonight. So, and that was never going to be a good recipe for Carolina to be competitive in the game. But in the end, 6-4 ain't bad, right? And this is not about winning games. It's about seeing things that we like or don't like. And there were some things we don't like about tonight's game. And getting better, because the process really begins a week from Friday, 9 days from today, when the Hurricanes will host the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, all right, let's just kind of quickly move through the game. We'll go through some of the goals, not all of the goals, because let's be honest here. I think that we can all agree that Yanni Peretz is probably an AHL goalie. And that would be good. Not drafted, right? Hurricanes signed him as a free agent after the Bobcats, the Quinnipiac Bobcats, who are well represented tonight with 15% of Carolina's roster tonight, hail from Quinnipiac, along with Skylar Brindamore and Charles Alexis Legault. Yanni didn't play great tonight. Made some good saves. I mean, probably made 4 or 5 really good saves. Saves on a couple of breakaways. A save on the. He actually didn't make a save on the Philip Forsberg penalty shot, but he made a save on the play that led to the penalty shot. Although he got a really good shot off. I'm not really sure why they gave Nashville a penalty shot, other than, hey, this will be fun. And Peretz just waited him out, and Forsberg eventually flipped the puck over the bar. But he also allowed at least 2, maybe 3 goals you can't allow. First goal can't go in, for sure. The Marchessault goal that made it 5-2, about a minute after the Hurricanes had made it 4-2, that goal can't go in. It was not great. But again, I don't think we're under any illusions that Yanni Peretz is a future NHL goalie. Certainly not a starter. Maybe in time he can be a backup. He's got decent enough size. He's 6'1", and he does have a history of stopping the puck. In fact, last year was the first year ever in his career, and that counts some junior as well as college hockey, when his save percentage was under 90%. His career save percentage is ridiculously good. And I believe He was 1,000% in his one appearance last year. Yeah, I know. It was only one save on one shot attempt or one shot on goal, but it's 1,000%. So, or actually, it's 100%. I don't know. All right, so we'll move on. We'll leave Yanni alone. We'll describe the first goal because honestly, he had help in the first goal. First goal was first misplayed by Dmitry Orlov at the blue line. We'll editorialize him in a minute. He actually made the right play by gapping up and getting to the blue line to really intercept the pass, but it went right through him. And then Sean Walker was skated around by Juuso Parssinen, who really just threw it out in front of the goal. And Peretz, I can't explain it. He wasn't square. He didn't have things closed down. The puck goes off the inside of his far leg. This was thrown over from the far right-hand corner. And it goes off the inside of his far leg, his right leg, and caroms into the net. That made it 1-0. Carolina got worse from there. Jackson Blake, Eric Robinson, and Dmitry Orlov again combined to not locate the puck, get moved off the puck a little bit, and Nadeau, Peretz couldn't stop the goal. That made it 2-0. Then there was another goal that made it 3-0 as Alexei Hemusalmi and Ty Smith were each kind of victimized on the goal, and this one Peretz really didn't have a chance. Looked like it caromed off of somebody and in. It was just, the whole thing was kind of a mess. But then, as you heard the Felix Unger-Sorm goal, good feelings returned. It was just such a dynamite move down the left-hand side to duck underneath Steven Stamkos to shoot it past Roman Josi and beat Scott Wedgwood. I mean, something you'll remember forever. Great goal by Felix Unger-Sorm, who was dynamite tonight. He was our first star. But then Hurricanes conceded another one. This one, they kind of lose control of the puck, and Dante Fabro just puts it on net from well out. I think it was center of the ice, just inside the blue line. There was a lot of traffic in front, and Peretz never saw the puck. I don't think he saw the puck until it was bouncing back out of the net. So that was a disastrous first period, and it was 4-1. It was 3-0, 10 minutes in. And we knew the outcome of the game from that point. Rod talked about it after the game. But Carolina kind of built a little bit of a game. They were never great in the game, but they weren't ever going to be able to. I mean, Nashville is, I think, a contender in the West. And B, the Hurricanes didn't have an NHL team on the ice. And one almost NHL forward line in Robinson, Drury, and Jackson Blake. And we'll talk about Blake and also Robinson as well, as kind of we put all of it into context. But 4-1 after one, they rallied. We had a Ryan Suzuki smart reward for a smart play, just throwing it in front of the net from the deep corner. Very similar to Juuso Parssinen, although this one went off of Wedgwood, off of Fabro, and then back in for the goal to make it 4-2. It was not even a shot on goal, ended up being a goal, much like Parsonen's was not a shot on goal, but ended up being a goal. Then they give up the goal, I don't know, what was it, a minute 4 later to Marchessault. And this is probably the goal more so than the first one. This is the goal that maybe makes you go, it's possible the NHL game might be moving too fast for Yanni. It made it 5-2, but the Hurricanes scored twice in the third period to make it 6-4. The first one, good play by Unger-Sorm to pounce on a loose puck. He gets it to Brendan Lemieux. Boom, makes it 6-3. And then the power play goal, which happened on a 5-on-3, and it really just highlighted the best skill that Bradley Nadeau possesses. And that is a great release and a dynamite shot and he and Felix Unger-Sorum were passing the puck back and forth. The first pass to Nadeau was not a good one, and Nadeau passed it back to Unger-Sorum, who then passed it back to Nadeau. Much better pass this time, and Nadeau just ripped it past Wedgwood. That was the final margin. Hurricanes still had about a minute left to power play time, like 1:03 or so left to power play time, but didn't do anything with it. And they had the net empty as well, but the game ended. The score ended right there. All right, a couple of things I want to get to, and if we have time, we're not going to be here for a ton, but if we have time, we'll get to some questions if you got them. You can always put them on Twitter at @AGoldFan, or you can just post them in the chat and I'll see them. There were some struggles on the back end. I thought Sean Walker was mostly good tonight, but when he wasn't, it was bad. Dmitry Orlov was woof in the first period. I don't think he was great the rest of the way, but I think he got better as the game wore on. And Rod Brindamore has more than a few times mentioned that not everybody arrived in training camp tip-top. And I don't know that that's Orlov specifically, but probably not a good night for number 7. I didn't think it was a particularly good night for Ty Smith either. I thought he fought the puck. I thought he fought decision-making. But I also thought that his game improved as it wore on. I think we should also keep this in mind. For the most part, the team that the Hurricanes put on the ice tonight isn't going to be in the NHL. I'm not saying, we know Orlov will, we know Walker will, we know Drury will. Pretty sure Eric Robinson will. Brendan Lemieux is going to be with the team, whether he's in the first 12 or not, don't know. Probably not. I kind of see his role being similar to last year, that, we're going to, in case of emergency, break glass type of thing, meaning you need somebody to add a little, sandpaper into your lineup. Not that you can't get that from other areas. Charles Alexis Legault, looking at you. But I don't know that Lemieux, although he scored tonight, maybe that works. I don't know that Lemieux is going to be a starter, a top 12 player for this team. But Orlov for sure, Ty Smith for sure, among the players who are either going to be on the team or might be on the roster. That's really more for Smith. Not good. Really not that good. Walker could have had 2 goals tonight. He hit the post twice, I think. Once off the left post, once backhand off the crossbar on a really cool 2-on-1. But they don't even count his shots on goal. But so there was good. I want to talk about the really good real quick. Now, again, always bears repeating, not Carolina's regular unit, but at the same time, the penalty kill looked good. 4 for 4 in the kill, plus you throw in the penalty shot that Forsberg shot high, but again, I give Peretz credit for forcing a more difficult play. So let's just call it 5 for 5, and there were just 2 shots on goal. That's it. 2 in 4 power plays plus the penalty shot. Penalty shot wasn't a shot on goal. So I think Carolina, again, not their usual group. I think Jack Drury will be part of the penalty kill this year. I don't know that Eric Robinson will be part of the penalty kill this year. But Orloff will. Walker will. We know Chatfield, Slavin, Burns. I mean, I think all 6 guys on the blue line can skate. So I think we got a lot of options to kill penalties for Carolina. Can't wait to see Jalen Chatfield in the lineup in person. I think we'll see that on Friday. I don't think Carolina is going to play the same type of a lineup they played today on Friday. I will be interested to see if Jackson Blake gets another run on Friday. Fairly certain that we'll see Jackson in the game on Saturday in Nashville to close out the preseason. So I don't know if we're going to see him on Friday, but we'll talk big picture about that. We're about halfway through today's. But let's just very quickly talk about 2 of those rookie forward prospects. And we'll start with the guy who scored the first Hurricanes goal today, Felix Ungersorm. He also added 2 assists. And remember this, he's playing center. He's not exactly doing an amazing job playing center, but he is playing center. Although 5-3 in the faceoff circle tonight certainly is not bad. He's just getting pushed around a little bit in the middle of the ice. But that goal, to duck your shoulder, go around Steven Stamkos, create the room, beat Roman Josi with the shot, and then beat a bona fide NHL goaltender in Scott Wedgwood, that's pretty good. That is pretty doggone good. And then let's get basically right to the end. We're about a minute 30 left in the game. Carolina with a 5-on-3. Ungersorm, Bradley Nadeau with Nadeau just inside if you're looking toward the goal, the left-hand portion of the left face-off circle. And first pass from Ungersorm to Nadeau was a little into him, so he couldn't get a shot off. He passed it right back to Ungersorm, who gave it right back to Nadeau, who didn't waste any time and just ripped it, and he wired it past Wedgwood. That was the final goal of the game. And you see the offensive potential of Nadeau. Ungersorm has great vision and passing ability, and we saw that on the goal is not that difficult to pass, but I think he's certainly a creative player, and I thought looked kind of dangerous tonight. When you score early in the game like he did, I think you get a little bit extra confidence. But I thought he played relatively well. None of these guys played great in their own end, and that's, of course, a problem if you're looking for a rookie scorer to make this team. On top of the fact that in terms of NHL veterans, they got 13 skaters. We know the top 9. We don't have to go through them. And then you've got Brendan Lemieux, Tyson Jost, and Eric Robinson, along with Jack Drury. That's 13 NHL forwards. So the chances of a rookie making the team are really, really small unless somebody dominated out here tonight, which, even though Ungersorm had 3 points, it would be disingenuous to say he dominated tonight, because he didn't. He was a good player, though. I thought he was a good player, but he certainly did not dominate. He was not like, how does this guy not have 4? But we can almost say that about Sean Walker, because Walker hit the post at least twice, maybe 3 times. But to me, you see the potential in Ungersorm, new position, was a winger. Now he's playing in the middle. And Nadeau, who was listed as center, I guess, at some point, will play the left side. But that shot is just spectacular, and it was great to see a goal go in for the kid. Again, none of those 3 are going to make the team. Jackson Blake is the closest. I think he shows flashes of really good play. This is his 3rd game. I think he was one of Carolina's best 2 players in the first 2 games. And I thought he was good, not great, but I didn't expect him to be great tonight because of whom they were up against. They were up against grown men. Blake, by the way, strong. He worked out hard with Billy Burniston this summer. Lived here, spent a lot of time with Nads. That can't be a nickname. Nads can't be anybody's nickname. It's a name for somebody you don't like. But they were here. I think Charles Alexis Legault was here too, I believe. Could be wrong about that. But you see the talent. You see what Jackson Blake can do. I think Blake is the closest to being in the NHL. I just don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that we're just talking it over with Tripp and Mike after the game briefly. If the kid can't play if he can't play 12 minutes a night, right? If he's not playing where he's utilized, where he's not playing 6.5 minutes a game, then you got to send him to the AHL. Send him to Chicago. Let him play, 18 minutes a game for the Wolves. Let him pile up a bunch of points, hopefully, and then come back when he's more used to and ready to play against grown men. So I think Blake is the closest to being on the team, but obviously you saw the future in Unger, Sorum, and Nadeau. Really, really encouraging to see those guys. Again, it's not a regular season game, so take all of the statistical data with a grain of salt. All right, let's get one more thing. Well, a couple more things. We'll talk more about forwards. Again, just Orlov and Walker are going to be here. Ty Smith might make the roster, but he didn't seem very useful this evening. I apologize if Ty Walker is listening to this Canes Corner podcast. Okay, before I get to my last set of things I want to talk about, let's just go down through some of the questions here. Felix Unger, this is from Will. Felix Unger Sorum is going to be a really good player. Yes, I agree, but he has to get stronger, a lot stronger. By the way, I saw Bradley Nadeau get whisked away like he was vacuum cleaner lint or dryer lint, and whoever the defenseman was for Nashville was a broom. I mean, just flicked away down behind the Nashville goal at one point. So Nadeau is also going to have to get stronger, but you can see all three of these kids are super talented. Samuel said Jackson Blake tried to be way too cute at times. He's a creative player. I didn't notice him trying to be cute, but I mean, when you're a creative player, you're trying to make things happen. You're trying to make good plays. So I don't think that Rod Brindamore was put off by anything he saw tonight from Jackson Blake. And say Will is back, still young. Yeah, of course. Yes, they're all these kids. I mean, there's three really good young players who, it would be great if one of them hit as a top six scorer. Maybe all three will. They're all super talented. I think Blake's talent is underrated. I really do. I see, even though he's a creative player, I see a little bit more meat and potatoes from him than I do from the other players. So we'll see over time. All right, I want to get to these. I mentioned this before. The top 9 forwards, those are done. Those are finished. We know who they are. So it's really, and we also know who the other center is. It's Jack Drury. And then you've got Brendan Lemieux, Eric Robinson, Tyson Jost, and I'm going to throw Juha Jaska into the mix simply because I've been impressed all 3 times I've seen him. He's a good player, little speed, little physicality. He's not super big, but he has been a pro for 8 years, played against men. Once he gets acclimated to North America and the American game. I think this guy has a chance to be a pretty good player. He had he's basically a grinder. He had double-digit goals in each of his last 4 seasons. So I think there's something there. I don't think he'll make the team. And in fact, he's the only one of the 4 players I mentioned that can be sent to the minor leagues without having to pass through waivers. Robinson, Lemieux, and Jost, who are all on NHL contracts, they can go to Chicago in the AHL, but they'd have to pass through waivers first. I'm not saying that they all wouldn't. I mean, probably would, but the Hurricanes aren't going to risk that at first. Now, if they decide that they have a glut, yeah, they'll probably put, maybe 2 of them on waivers and hope that nobody takes them. I think ultimately the 4th line is going to be Drury, Jost, and Robinson. I think that's going to be their 3 on that line with Brendan Lemieux maybe upstairs. I don't know. Maybe the goal helped him tonight. I don't know. But I think that line has a chance to, not suck. I think it's a fairly good. It's not a checking energy line, but I think it's a fairly good 4th line that might have some offensive upside. And this is where I say Jackson Blake could make that team. He could make that spot. And I think Rod's going to give him at least one more game to prove a point. I don't know, maybe he gets both. And if he does and he performs, I don't think Rod's closed the book on it. I just think it's a huge long shot. And you can send those guys to the minors and you get essentially the league minimum contract taken out of your cap hit. So the Hurricanes would create even more cap space if they did something like that. But I don't really anticipate Carolina going that route. I don't think you'll see Jackson Blake here, at least not initially, maybe down the road. And remember, injuries happen. All right, 2 other players very quickly that we haven't talked about, and I'm going to do it here in about 2 minutes. Micah says, I'm gonna be pissed if the 2 bums from the Sabres play over Lemieux. I hope you won't be, but I do think that Robinson and Jost are going to play with Jack Drury. Hey, Lemieux could be there. Like I said, I think it's pretty tight. What I've seen from Jost and Robinson, I think are better than what I've seen from Lemieux, but I also don't think it's egregious one way or the other. Skylar Brindamore has been fun to watch. He just has. He plays like he knows what he's doing. I think he's going to end up in Chicago and won a bunch of his faceoffs again tonight. He's been great in the circle, which probably shouldn't surprise anybody, but defensively responsible, blocked shot, smart play to get an offensive zone faceoff when he had the puck in the offensive end and nobody was there to help him. He just flung it at the net, got a whistle, and then won a faceoff and created a scoring chance with it. So I think he's not going to make the team. He's on a professional tryout opportunity, but I think he's going to get a contract and go to the American Hockey League. And we can track his progress there. But he has a lot of the makings of maybe somebody who can be a 4th line center down the road. The world needs ditch diggers too, as Judge Smales said to Danny Noonan, the great philosopher, Judge Smales said to Danny Noonan. And again, I mentioned Yaska is an intriguing prospect. All right. Very quickly before I end, just so I want to just get it out there. I do think that It's going to be Roslovic with Aho and Jarvis. Svech, Natchez, and Kokaniemi are going to be a thing. I didn't think Drury was great tonight. Difficult night, obviously, for him because you're the only NHL center on the ice. So they're throwing tougher matchups at you, all of that. I think Jack was just maybe a shade off tonight. But I said at the beginning of the preseason that I think that Jesperi Kotkaniemi will determine his play, will determine how much runway he gets at the beginning of the season. It's really important that Kotkaniemi play well and that his two wingers, Natchez and Svechnikov, score goals. Whether he contributes to them or not, I'm not knocking him. Whether he contributes to them or not, it's important that Natchez and Svechnikov score. I think if Kotkaniemi plays well, he doesn't even have to be on the score sheet. If he plays well, then Natchez and Andre will, I think they'll both score a bunch of goals. But the way Kotkaniemi plays in the preseason, I think will determine how much leash Rod gives him before he says, I know what 18 is going to do. I know everything that he is going to do. He is a super solid, smart hockey player. Just doesn't have the ceiling, doesn't have a high ceiling, right? We're probably talking about at best 40 points, at best. And that's playing, 13 to 14 and a half minutes a night, which I don't think he's going to get. Anyway, Friday, we'll do it all over again. Lightning will be here. I think we'll see more of an NHL team. Oh, real quick. Congratulations to the Hurricanes for selling out the building tonight and for donating the ticket revenue from this evening. This was supposed to be a Hurricanes, a community event, and they're sending all that money up to hurricane relief. You can contribute or find out more about what the Hurricanes are doing at hurricanes.com/relief. Also, at the radio station, we have set up a text line. If you text Helene, HELENE, to 90999, you can make a donation there. Give what you can. Give something. Give $5. That's fine. Until Friday, when we run this back, Canes and the Lightning. I am Adam Gold. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If the exterior of your home needs help, no better people to call than the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Jeffrey says, yes, I'm getting old. I know what movie that was from. Doesn't mean you're old. It's on like twice a week. This is like saying that, man, I'm so old I remember Roadhouse. Roadhouse is on all the time. All the time. So, all right, we'll do it again on Friday. I'll see everybody then. I appreciate your time. And have a good night here from the Canes Corner.